Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Built with Metal podcast. My name is Melanie Cole. I am the executive publisher of Metal Construction News and Metal Architecture. Today, we have two special guests with us from MetalForming. We have Stephen Gosk, who is the CEO, and Chad Rowe, Director of Business Development. Thank you for being here today, guys.
Hey, thank you. How are you doing today, Melanie?
I'm doing just great. For anyone who doesn't know, MetalForming delivers advanced equipment and support that help contractors and architects shape, cut, and form metal with greater efficiency and precision. So let's dive into today's podcast. We'll start by talking about one of my favorite topics, the state of the industry. It has been a very interesting year so far. How would you describe the current state of the metal construction industry in 2025?
From my perspective, the word of the day seems to be uncertainty. And that's probably as good a word as any to describe this year and where people are at between, the tariffs and the impact of tariffs on metals, as well as imported machines that we're involved with, to, the exchange rates and just the uncertainty of the economy. It's a good word. However, at the same time, it would appear to me from the customers we speak with that people are having a good year. And the vast majority of customers we're talking to are actually having a very good year. And the activity levels remains fairly robust. So it's a little bit of a mixed message from what you hear in the media and the reality of what we're seeing from our customer base. But I'm very pleased to hear that most of our customers are doing very, very well.
So I guess in spite of the uncertainty, and you're right, that's a great word that does keep coming up. What do you think is fueling the demand for metal today?
From my perspective, every business has headwinds and tailwinds. And in our world, particularly metal roofing and what we're involved in, some of the tailwinds that we're getting is just an increase in popularity of metal roofing in general. Interesting data from the Metal Construction Association. You're starting to see more metal being put on new homes, and the growth of that is actually outpacing the refurb metals that historically have made up 90% of what was being done. And so that trend, along with some performance trends, just with fire and high wind areas, is helping. The insurance companies are kind of getting in that mix now. So there seems to be some nice tailwinds behind the industry in total.
I think that the availability of new textures, new finishes, the advancements in the finish side of the material is a big help. Mm-hmm. Because ultimately, let's be realistic about it. You want metal on your house. Generally, if it's a two persons are going to make this decision. One person says, I want the practicality of the metal. I don't care what color it is. Yeah, I want it to match the house. One of the other person says, yeah, but if it could look like cedar shingle, if it could look like a clay tile, and I could still get those advantages of the metal, then it's a win for both parties, especially in that homeowner and the residential market space, with all the advancements in the finishes, and even the styles of roll forming that are available today that 10, 15 years ago may have been available, but that technology was very expensive. So it wasn't as commonplace. So I think there's a couple of different reasons that we're seeing that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the industry evolving on all aspects, whether that's the materials being used to just the production for use, evolving to step up to meet the higher demand, but also meet what historically may have been some of the hesitancy points for people to use metal. And I see those starting to be knocked down and people getting away from it. I mean, quite frankly, to the point that a metal roof in some cases where we've seen developments in the Southeast are becoming almost a status symbol of, if you can afford a really good roof, you should use metal. So there are some of those, dynamics at play.
Yeah, and you raise a really good point. I mean, just design wise, there's so much versatility with metal. And like you were saying, Chad, I mean, you can kind of make it look however you want it to look when you're going to put it on the roof of your house, right? So with the increasing demand for metal, it kind of brings me to my next question. We're getting closer to one of my favorite trade shows, which is MetalCon. MetalCon is only a few weeks away. So I would love to talk to you a bit about your booth there. You're once again going to have a very large presence this year in Las Vegas. What can attendees of the show expect when they stop by your booth this year?
If you follow it, I mean, metal forming has been an anchor tenant at MetalCon now for 25 plus years, and it is a very, very big show for us, particularly for the space that we operate in. And in the last several years, a big focus for us at the show was to present new, innovative products that help our customers be more successful. And so really the cornerstone beyond the historical products we've represented and are well known in the industry and again the granddaddy of the industry in folders and some of the other areas, we really are focusing on innovation with some of our new supplier products.
So let's talk about those products for a minute. This year, you'll be showcasing the Schroeder Architectural Shear and Folder and the Viet Steel Roll Former. Let's spend some time and talk about those for a bit.
So I'll take on the Schroeder Architectural Shear and Folder, and maybe even a little bit of the Viet Steel roll forming. But one of the key things about metal forming in general is that we're not locked to any one particular brand or model of a 10-foot 16 gauge folder. We're able to go out and find the best equipment that gives the end user the best possible solutions. So our goal as metal forming is to find the right solutions for our customers and let them choose what's the best solution for them. So why this is part of the reason why this Schroeder architectural product is a big win for metal forming. It gives us a little more versatility. The Schroeder company itself is very well known in the larger high-end precision fabricating space. That same level of engineering, of build, of quality has been brought down into the architectural folder and shear that we're offering. Schroeder is not new into building and making architectural products. I want to be very clear about that it's not a new product for the Schroeder company. It's new to the U.S. market. That is all. The sophistication of the product in the engineering and the design is complemented with the ease of use and operation. I'm going to throw out a little teaser there. With the Schroeder architectural system, they are very innovative in their designs, and we're able to offer a folding machine that gains productivity with full safety. Myself, I've been here at Metal Forming since 1999. Never have I been able to say about any product that you're going to be more productive with a safety system. So those of you that are out there, come and see what is speed through safety. What is this all about?
Yeah, Schroeder's been a great line for metal forming now for years. And again, as a company, we have focused more so in their precision industrial applications. But as Chad mentioned, they've had architectural product in their portfolio since their beginning. And so it is an opportunity for us to now represent that product in the North American market. As Chad mentioned, there are definitely some unique features about it that are not available from any other suppliers in the market today. And we're excited to put it into our portfolio here because it is a proven entity. And how they do what Chad described is through their technology and knowledge in that space. In this case, particularly with safety systems that they've been using for years. So it, I believe, is going to be a very interesting product for our customers, particularly those that put a heavy emphasis on safety systems for their manufacturers and employees out on the floor.
So what is the complete lineup of the Schroeder architectural products?
It's a great question, Melanie. So with the Schroeder architectural products, we have a range of capabilities that no other company can offer, both in simplistic use of equipment. Example, a 10-foot 16 gauge folder. A Schroeder architectural product is actually 127-inch capability. So there are times when people will need 126-inch bending. We can offer that with the shear capability. Again, something that has not been available in the North American market is a shear that during its operation can drop sheets both to the front and to the rear based on what your needs are. Going up to that next level, we get into an architectural style folder that has 14 gauge capability up to 13 feet in length, as well as the unique feature of advanced hemming and being able to close completely a 14 gauge material hem. So the capabilities across the Schroeder product meet a lot of different needs, covers a wide spectrum. And then, of course, we still have available the tried and true Schechtel product line that people know. So again, this is where we're able to provide choices for the customers. You're not locked into any one specific offering.
And you'll have this on display at your booth at MetalCon this year.
Absolutely. All of this equipment will be fully functional, and we'll be doing demos and creating profiles. If you would like to, and you're watching this, bring us your drawings. We're happy to do. We want to make your products. It's one thing for us to sit there and make these cute demo parts. Bring us your products. We're happy to design and do those right there on the fly.
That's great. That's a great point. So for anyone out there that is attending MetalCon this year, you've heard Chad. Bring him your products and they'll help you out. Did you want to spend some time talking a little bit about Viet Steel?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. A new addition to our portfolio is wide coverage roll formers, brought to us with, we've partnered with a company called Viet Steel. The standard offering from Viet Steel includes features and benefits that are not available as standard items from other roll forming manufacturers that fit into this market space. So we're very excited to show this for the first time and add this to our portfolio. There is in the world of construction, there is an anticipated growth over the next 15 years of approximately, depending on what you read, 4 to 6% in the demand for roll forming. Now, again, this covers a lot more than just our industry. This is roll forming for a lot of different industries. But that growth in demand is what led us to, we need to find a better solution. We need to help our customers and find a solution for them that meets their needs and their goals and put some money back in their pocketbook.
And it also represents, Metal Forming's approach, as we build out our lines. I mean, if it's either folding, roll forming, or coil processing, are really our core fabrication areas that we focus on, with our intent here to offer machines that can complete all of the applications in those individual areas. And so we, continue to look for lines that make sense. They have to have synergy with our company, both in what we're known for, and what we're known for is really the higher quality, higher end machines, maybe not always the cheapest, but the best machines in their space and in their class. Has to have synergy with the knowledge that we have here with both our service techs and folks like Chad, who've been here now 25 plus years. So it has to have synergy with that, and it has to have synergy on the markets that we focus on. And so as we go out and we look for new lines, we look for those manufacturers that align with our historical success here as Metal Forming, and Viet Steel is perfect. And I feel like, and we collectively feel like, when we can show this product in the market, people see a huge value in what they're getting when they look at that price point versus quality versus capability. It's going to be very attractive for folks.
Yeah, and it does. It sounds like you have a lot of new products, innovations. MetalCon this year, I think, is going to be really, really exciting, not just for you, but for contractors, architects, anybody that is stopping by your booth. So please be sure to stop by the Metal Forming booth this year, because it cannot be missed. And now a message from Metal Forming.
At Metal Forming, our mission is to empower our clients with the best technology in the industry. We believe in continuous innovation and unparalleled customer support, while offering a full line of metal forming machines that meet the needs for all business sizes. As we sit in the space between the customer and the suppliers, we're challenged to influence our suppliers' product roadmaps with innovation that best serves the market, while we focus on best serving our customers with value and support that surpasses our competition. My name is Steve Gosk. I'm the president of Metal Forming. First question we typically will ask is, what do you do today and what do you want to do 5 years from now? Again, these machines are major investments, so they're making investments in this machine, and these machines last 20 plus years. So it's really important for us to understand where that customer is going, what they want to do with the machine, what their aspirations are for their business. We put them in the right technology and then help them apply that technology to set them apart in the markets that they serve.
I'm Chad Rowe with Metal Forming, and here I am the Business Development Director. Having been with Metal Forming for over 25 years, I know that we're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in metal forming and bending. Our team is focused on creating solutions that meet the evolving needs of all of our customers.
I'm David Prokop. I'm the Executive Vice President of Metal Forming. I handle the precision side of sales. Flexibility, efficiency, and precision are at the core of everything we do. Our machines are engineered to provide our clients the highest level of flexibility, delivering consistent results, reducing downtime, and increasing productivity. We offer European precision and quality that no one else can match.
Martin Koenig, I'm the Executive Vice President of Operations. Customer service, field service, and refurbished services are the backbone of the metal forming experience. The process of training and qualifying service technicians, whether at headquarters or in remote locations near customers. We are focused on factory training and helping our customer experience success.
Let's shift gears for a second. Let's talk a little bit about weather and sustainability. So weather events are shaping so many conversations, even that I've been having in 2025. Why is metal such a critical material in dealing with these challenges, and how is metal forming helping contractors build for durability and resilience?
So it's proving, and it has been proven to be a better solution, particularly in high wind or in situations where there's fires like we had out west this past year. So it's proven to be a better solution As I touched on earlier, even the insurance companies are starting to get involved and understand that if metal is done properly, and applied properly, really can make a difference in those types of situations. From our side, we represent machines that then in turn, help produce the metals. It's really critical that those machines are accurate and they have precision from the dimensional standpoint and such, so that those applications can be applied properly. And we continue to look at those opportunities as ways of assisting our customers be more successful.
I think another key aspect of it, Melanie, is really very basic. The traditional shingle, while its composition may have been upgraded or changed over the years, the application or the installation of it has not. It's a basic nail into a wood substrate. So there's only so far that those systems can perform, as for whatever, I'm not a weatherman, but for whatever those reasons are, the storms seem to be stronger and more frequent, where with a metal roofing system, there are different panel profiles that can really improve the integrity and how they hold together in these severe weather events. And it's not, it goes beyond, I keep saying wind, it goes beyond that. You have these different finishes. So we're able to withstand hail and penetration damages. The fire with all of these materials now are standard with UL Class 4 type ratings. But it's really the flexibility of the metal roofing system, because it is a complete system. It's not just a shingle that's nailed down to your roof and you hope it sticks throughout these catastrophic events. The metal roofing is truly a system. It can be designed for different applications and still look pretty.
I'm wondering, because weather has just been such a big topic this year,
Mhm.
have you guys, from your customers, had more people reaching out because of the weather situations this year?
Just that those codes and the requirements are moving more inland, that they're becoming more widely used and required. And that's also partially coming from the insurance companies.
Interesting. Okay.
Because now they're starting to see there are effects where there is visible results after these storms in areas where they've built things to a certain standard and they remained intact. Neighborhoods directly across the street or right in the same area that weren't built to those standards have succumbed to severe damage. So the effects now, we're starting to really see the effects of what those codes are able to do. Ultimately, that affects the insurance companies' premiums. So while somebody may pay a little more initially for that metal roof, maybe they get that savings back on insurance premiums.
So if we were going to look at areas that are being rebuilt, Southern California is always coming to mind. Are you hearing more about codes and insurance and any items that might be shifting over the next few years?
I would say not necessarily enough at the moment. California specifically follows more stringently the international building codes, as opposed to having a dedicated code regulation, something where, like, Florida has its Florida product approvals and building codes, and Texas has the TDI, which is Texas Department of Insurance stuff. California is still a little more, I'm sure that maybe there are some regions that have more stringent testing and regulations, but for the most part, they stay pretty much to the international building code.
And I mean, I'm certainly no expert in codes, but I think we can all agree that the weather events will be starting to shift how codes are implemented and how insurance companies are starting to regulate. And I think that there's definitely going to be things to look out for 2026 and beyond in those
If
areas.
if insurance companies start to give you a discount on your rate because you have a metal roof, give you, some sort of rebate or something like that, I mean, that's to me really where you'll get some widespread acceptance and attention to metal roofs. And I don't see that as being so far away. I mean, the insurance companies already starting to poke into this a little bit, and especially, when they have it on the non-metal side already, this Fort group, if it's put on properly, insurance companies are giving some discounts. So you could apply that same approach to metal very easily. And, that group actually certifies install or certifies approach, and then you get some benefit if it's a roof that's been put on properly. Probably a little early to say for sure.
So let's shift a little bit and talk about market challenges. Obviously, weather has been challenging. The market itself has been a bit of a challenge. Every industry has challenges. But what are you seeing in metal construction today? I mean, whether it's labor shortages, efficiency demands, versatility, what have you been seeing this year? And how is metal forming addressing some of those challenges?
I think the customer base itself is changing to being a more complete, they're being asked to provide more metal on a job site than they had in years past. No longer is it, oh, you do the metal roofing, somebody else does the trim around the windows, somebody else does the metal siding. Now they are being asked, oh, you do metal roofing. Well, can you also do this metal? Can you also do this metal? Everybody would like their lives to be simpler and easier. And I can only imagine as a general contractor, the challenges of having 10 different subcontractors as opposed to having 3. It's a lot easier to manage that product, to manage that job site. So I think the challenge is really not even so much for us, but it's where does a customer want to go when they get these kind of questions? Who do they need to contact to learn about other capabilities? And I think that's where metal forming really shines is our customer base can really use us and use our expertise for answering some of those questions. What products are available to help me make a X? And what we're doing also with our expanding our product lines is kind of actually answering and fitting into what we've been seeing of, I need to do more. So how can I have this one piece of equipment and be able to ask it to do more? I'll let you jump in there with.
And there's, we're being in this space now for 25 plus years comes into play. And we have people like Chad who can ask that question, what are you doing today? And what do you want to do 5 years from now? And we can discuss what machines make the most sense. And in some cases, it may be an investment in a machine that, maybe today isn't going to get utilized to its fullest, but if they continue down their path, it will allow them to be that one-stop shop for their customer, and they can feel confident that they have the right machine. And then beyond that, you could come in here. We have a complete demo area. We can run your parts. We can prove to you, the time savings. We can prove to you that the parts run. We can prove to you that the parts run the right way, dimensionally and such. That happens, quite often here every week, and maybe not every day, but pretty darn close. And then beyond that, we have the technical support as well as field service techs to make sure we can take care of that equipment, once it's at the customer's location. And, that is every bit as important as making the initial sale. We have to be there to support the equipment after the sale. And, since I've been here in the last 3 years, we have built out those technical resources quite substantially, and we continue to do so. because the more machines we sell, the more machines to support, and the more tech support we need to be able to provide the customers. So we continue to build out that team, and we want to make that a marked difference between us and our competitors on the level of support we can provide.
So
think
once
another-
somebody invests in one of your solutions, you do provide very extensive aftercare support.
Yeah, it's huge and almost humbling sometimes. I mean, we do business with, Fortune, 500 companies, particularly on that precision industrial fabrication end. But we also do business on the other end of the spectrum, which is a roofing contractor who wants to get into fabrication. And they, go through the expense of putting up a building perhaps, and they want to invest in their initial machines. And it's a big investment. And it is a very, very important investment because they're counting on that machine to run. They're counting on that machine to provide an ROI. And that's what they're betting on when they invest into the space, because now this allows them to do more of the pie. And it gives them perhaps additional income streams. And when you meet these folks and listen, it happens if a machine's down. I mean, it's a big deal because they're not making money. And it's we have got to have that level of understanding and sensitivity to the customer's need, and how important that truly is to them. And, we see all types of customers as well. Most recently, a couple of Fridays ago, believe it or not, we had a customer drive down from Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, to pick up a manual machine here at our facility, because they wanted to get it and get it back up and start using it in their market. And that's just the real world that these customers live in. And we've got to be respectful of that and understanding of that, sensitive to it. And, we're working hard to make sure the team here at MetalForming fully respects and understands what we're talking about.
It is an investment for your customers. Are you helping them in any other ways in terms of financing? If somebody came to you for questions, they wanted to invest in a product, what can you offer them?
Yeah.
So I'll take this one for just a moment. There's several different programs and offerings that we have, and it really depends on what that customer's level of investment and how they want to spend their money. Again, we're not affiliated. We don't do financing internal. We work with a couple of different preferred finance specialists. Right now, we have with one of our preferred, we have some great programs that potentially a buyer today could put no money down and make no payments for 6 months. No money down and no payments for 6 months. If you need equipment before the end of the year, we do have some equipment available. There are programs so that you keep your operating capital fresh and available and get some jobs booked and get some jobs done before you even start paying on the equipment. So a lot of different ways. And again, that's all part of the educational process for customers as to what's the best move for them. The other big thing that's happening, Melanie, this year, Section 179 has been increased, and it's going to stay there. If you have not started looking at your finances, please call your accountant. There are tax advantages for those that have been busy, that have been profitable. There are not new tax incentives, but reinvigorated, refreshed, brought back to life. So I encourage everyone, please look at that Section 179. That is a big help.
Yeah, all of that was part of the big beautiful bill. And in that big beautiful bill, there's a lot of incentives in there for investing in manufacturing and investing in business here in the US. As Chad alluded to, there was starting to see a sunsetting of of that Section 179 advantage, and now it is law. It's going to stick around. It's $1,250,000 of write-off potential for people acquiring equipment, that has value up over $3 million. So it's very substantial. And the best thing we could do for those folks who want to take advantage of that is we have lots of inventory on machines that still can be delivered in 2025. So as people, start to look at their year end and see that they've had a good year, it may be a good investment opportunity time for them to take advantage of.
I mean, I know we touched on this quickly at the beginning of this show, but in terms of investments, in terms of equipment that you have on site, inventory, have tariffs affected any of this so far? I mean, this has been the top of the news feed all year. And, I'm seeing some trends whereby I've got some folks that are saying, hey, I've got a ton of inventory right now. There's no tariffs. Let's do what we need to do this calendar year. How are you seeing that impact you?
So we're the same. So we certainly had inventory product that we had that arrived pre-tariff. The vast majority of our suppliers are European. And if you kind of follow the whole tariff scenario, it landed with essentially about a 10% increase in our landed cost. So with that, we worked with our suppliers. We took a look at ourselves, and we fully recognize, we've got to remain cost competitive for the value that we offer in the machines. And so, collaborating with our suppliers and looking internally, essentially, we absorb a good portion of that. But, whether it's metals, whether it's machinery, groceries, whatever it might be, in my view, some of it is almost like COVID, where the costs have increased and they're probably not going back. And, for the most part, the customer base has accepted it and understands, some of the drivers behind it. But, in general, for our customers, probably seeing less than a 5% price increase to them as we've worked different ways to try to mitigate that with our suppliers.
Yeah, and you said at the beginning of this that uncertainty was sort of the key word. And someone said to me the other day, the only thing certain right now is the uncertainty. So I think moving into 2026, I feel like we've always maybe gotten used to it a little bit, and we just kind of got to keep ticking along, right?
Yeah, earlier this year, as you can imagine, especially for us dealing with multi-currencies, a lot of churn. There has been a lot of churn and a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of wondering what's coming next. And you go to bed thinking that it's one way, and then you wake up. By the time you get up in the morning, something has changed again. So I think it finally feels like we're kind of in a stable place for at least the foreseeable future.
Except for the government shutdown. So something new around every corner. But in the end, most importantly, we have to offer a product that the customer sees as the right value for what they're paying for and the right benefit. And as I stated earlier, the really nice thing with machines and capital equipment is you can figure out your ROI. And if your ROI was 12 months and now it's 15 months, for a lot of people, that's still a very acceptable, business investment.
Okay, guys. Well, this takes us just about to the end of our podcast today. But before we wrap up, for viewers and listeners who want to learn more and get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, several different ways. One, just pick up the phone and call us.
Yeah,
That's the easy way. Maybe we're showing our age by saying it that way. We do have on our website, we do absolutely have some different ways to contact us. If you're in need of parts, if you're in need of service support, if you're in need of sales support. But real honestly, pick up the phone and give us a call.
Yeah, and if you can, we're at all the major trade shows such as MetalCon, IRE in January, and FabTech last month now. Also, we attend many of the smaller shows and regional shows. We're at the Construction Roll Forming Show this week. So the team is there. We welcome, the reach out and the questions, and we're here to help. And we really do want to assist our customers finding that right machine for their application. And, sometimes it may not be one we offer. And if that's the case, we would let you know that as well.
But we may have a source for you. We may know where to go and get it. We would be remiss, and we would get in trouble with one of our marketing personnel if we did not mention. Please also feel free to reach out to us on any of the social media platforms, as we are there as well.
Okay, that's great. Well, I want to thank you both for being on the Built with Metal podcast today. I look forward to seeing you both at MetalCon in just a few weeks.
For sure.
Just a few weeks.
You can watch this podcast today on the Metal Construction News website or tune in wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Thanks again, guys, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.